itself turned into a real miracle. Arcas, along with his wife, looked askance because they were trying to take into account all the achievements of their estate, and with this decree, he proclaimed the Frontier estate a county. At that moment, the main character stood behind the envoy along with Xavier. Xavier looked in surprise at the protagonist, who said the same thing about the county at the same time as the envoy. This envoy on the red carpet immediately bowed and congratulated the family of counts. At that time, Arcas with his wife, with tears in their eyes, looked at their son in surprise. At that moment, Lloyd looked at his parents with a smirk. At that time, the messenger stood on the path in front of Lloyd's bowed parents and reported that the first achievement prevented the spread of a monstrous wave of monsters from the east, and the second achievement provided shelter to refugees from all over the country. The blonde patted her husband on the shoulder, who was holding his lips with tears in his eyes, and the third achievement was that they rebuilt the eastern regions and turned it into a real fighting force. This mustachioed messenger opened a wide red scroll and reported that, given all these achievements, Frontier County gains independence from Cremo County, and he ordered them to become the center of the East and rebuild it. Behind the messenger, the main character crossed his fingers and joyfully rejoiced, because he heard that the royal family will allocate a budget and all the necessary materials for construction in the East. They are also granted an exemption from paying taxes for the next 20 years. At that moment, Lloyd opened his mouth in delight and looked at his crossed fingers. Long live his kingdom, and their wonderful and generous Alicia. He understood that it was almost impossible to rebuild such a huge city on their own, but the queen was confident in them, so he decided to trust them. At that time, Lloyd looked back at the knight angrily and told him to go to the village, because he had something prepared for such cases. Arcas looked at the leaving guys, having heard from the messenger that in this way all the territories that bordered the east, including the county of Lacona, would be subject to the county of Frontera. Arcas, with tears in his eyes and a pitiful grin, looked at his son. He looked at his son humming a song with Xavier, realizing that all this became possible thanks to Lloyd, because he not only miraculously saved their estate